Can you guys hear me now? Are we good? Big day for New York sports, man. Big day for New York sports. Crazy all around. First of all, foremost, I gotta say, this ain't no sound. Now you can hear me now. You should be able to hear me now. We good, we good, we good. Um, just gotta say one thing, man. Ooh, baby, the Mets got Scherzer. The New York Mets signed Max Scherzer to a 3-year, I think $140 million deal, no trade clause, can opt out after the second year. Max Scherzer, who is 37 years old, is my one of outside of DeGrom, one of my favorite pitchers. I wanted Max Scherzer since he was on Detroit. Since he was on mother freaking Detroit, I wanted Max Scherzer on this team. Always loved this game. Gritty pitcher, could give you I don't even say solid, great 7, 8 innings. Filthy stuff. Gas. Come on, man. Like, oh. Steve Cohen, thank you for owning the Mets. Thank you. I just want to say thank you. I just want to say thank you because the Mets for so many years have been trashed, partially because of bad coaches, bad players, but also because our owners were cheap. The Will Ponds, after the whole thing with the Ponzi scheme, the Mayoff Ponzi scheme happened, they lost a lot of money. They spent even less, or it felt like they spent even less. And I'm just happy that we have an owner who's spending like he owns a team in New York City. SNY is extremely profitable. The city, you have a fan base that, yeah, you could say there are a lot of Yankee fans, but you could argue that it's, I don't know the numbers, I might be extremely wrong, but it feels like it's split. And I'm not saying it just because I'm a Met fan and might be a little bit biased. But in many areas, parts of the city, you could find people who are Mets fans just as there are Yankee fans. So salute to Steve Cohen for such a clutch signing, man. Oh, so happy. And then obviously you also got your boy Kemba Walker, who is gone. Essentially, he's gone, man. Tom Thibodeau came out today and basically said he is out the rotation. Talked about wanting more height within the lineup on defense, the guard position. And we talked about this with Kemba Walker. You know what I mean? I'm going to get to this in a little bit, but I first and foremost want to just do a little recap of the Hawks-Knicks game uh, that went on this past Saturday. Obviously, seemed to be the turning point, but not even the turning point. It was a 20-game mark, something that Tom Thibodeau has historically used as his barometer to see where changes need to be made, who needs to be in and out the rotation. And it just, obviously with Burks being in there and what he did, even though I think a lot of Burks' production was, more so just him being hot. He had what, 3, 4 threes, I believe, in the third quarter. And this is Burks. He can go through these spurts, but Tom Thibodeau likes that stability. He likes the bigger guards. And so he started in the presence or in the absence of Derrick Rose and Kemba Walker day to day, or doing the whole. If it's a back to back, he does a day on, day off kind of thing. And so Alec Burks played really well. Played really well for the Knicks, and then also IQ. Even though IQ only was, I think, 4 for 12 from the field, and I think he was like 1 for 7 from three. IQ also had 7 assists, I believe, and was extremely effective in helping to shut down Trae Young. Now, granted, Trae Young did still score 30-some points, went 10 for 20-something, but against IQ, from what I counted, he was only 1 for 5. And IQ, like I said, I'm telling you guys, I think that IQ at the very least is going to be an above average perimeter backcourt defender in this league. And I'm going to show you a few examples. This is the most I'm going to cover in this Hawks. I'm not going to go all through it. Obviously, you guys we rated at the box score. Julius Randall didn't have much. I believe he only had 8 points. R.J. Barrett had 15. Evan Fournier had 20. Shot really well from the field. 4 for 6 from 3. 7 for 13 overall. Obviously, Alec Burks was 23. 4 for 7 from the field. I think he had either 3 or 4 threes in the third quarter. Jericho Sims plays in valuable minutes, 6 points. But he did provide you with 6 rebounds. Tough play down low. Emmanuel Quickley had his 9 points, but again, a 7 assists. But, I thought his defense, I think everybody's defense, I mean, obviously, Trae Young had his way, especially in that. Well, in the second quarter, when they kind of lost the lead, it was more so I think that Trae Young was trying to play make, and guys were missing open shots. Remember that in the Hawks game, you saw a lot of open shots. It's something that we suffer from. Obviously, the help defense, you allow the perimeter to be open. And this season, we suffered a lot with having Kemba and Fournier, who just poor backcourt defenders, and Kemba, who just can't really move that well. Can't really prevent anybody from penetrating into the paint and then kicking out. So, against the Hawks, it just seems like I think Tom Thibodeau felt comfortable with what he saw. You let Trae Young score his little 30-something. Trae Young had some absurd shots from outside. He had some stupid shots you just can't defend. It is what it is. And I know people, obviously we're talking about here, people killing Randall for, when he came in, the feeling changed, the rhythm changed. Now, I will say this. I think that RJ plays a lot more comfortably with that second unit, but I'm not going to put everything on Randall. Your boy, Trae Young, hit 2 threes from freaking Zimbabwe, Mozambique, that you're not going to sit there and blame anybody and say, oh, you didn't guard. It's like, bro, that Trae Young is doing his best Curry impression. So, overall, just to get back to IQ, I thought he played a solid game outside the shooting, whatever, but I just thought his defense was beautiful. And I want to show a few examples. I don't think YouTube's going to shut me down because I don't have this episode monetized. But just to show a few examples of IQ's defense, I'm also showing some examples of his court awareness. If I could find it, yes, it's right here. So let me know if you guys can't see it. So you see here, just pay attention to how IQ opens up his stance and how he kind of closes it. And it's crazy because he close out on that, right? Uses length at the end to close out on the shot. Here's another one. I'm trying to find my favorite one. I'm trying to find the one where he had the pick and roll. This might be it. And look how IQ sees a pick and roll. Goes over it, continues to harass Trae Young. Trae Young, who can't draw those fouls anymore. Again, his free throw draw rate dropped from 49% to like 28%. And you just see how IQ closes out on that. It's just, it was beautiful, man. It was absolutely beautiful to see IQ's defense. The way he shifts, the way he uses his length on his arms. Pause. People are killing for that. How can I get back to... Yeah, this is second. Crossover, tries it. And look at how IQ gives up that space to be crossed over. If that makes sense, right? Like he's not. It's like he waits for the crossover, right? And he's waiting for Trae Young's second move. Like Trae Young is twitchy, right? So if you overreact to the crossover and try to get back, he'll just cross you back to the other side. Right, he's going to step on your missteps. And I like how IQ is like, okay, I'm always going to have my length to recover on it, right? I'm always going to have my length to recover if he takes that shot. But if he drives off that crossover, I could catch him. He's not, obviously, if he's not going to bring it over. I'm still closing off that side or, staying on that side. He's not going to bring it over because that'd be stupid. So, again, this is smart, cerebral defense by IQ, man. High level defense by IQ. Now, some people obviously I love the Tony Allen type of defense. Obviously, that's not IQ, but it's just like the give and take, the bend don't break, right? It's always, all right, I'm gonna let you have the first little move, but I'm gonna attack your second move. I'm waiting for your second move. And it was like a cat and mouse game between him and Trae Young, and it was just beautiful to see, man. Like, look at that. Look at the shiftiness. Look at that. See Trae Young. And Trae Young, like, right, if I can stop it, right there. Trae Young right there, catch the crossover, just waiting for him to bite on it. He does it, he's like, screw it. Just go for the floater. And there's 13 seconds left on the shot clock. So he had time. This was a cat and mouse game defensively. Like I said, IQ will become an above average defender. Look how he gets over the screen. Now Mitch again plays that no man's land. IQ. Look at the travel by IQ. Look at the traveling in terms of the yardage IQ's making. This guy is recovering. Look at the recovery by IQ. Now, if we had an aggressive, I would love to see this game with Nozoel who would have hedged. crazily, then maybe you have to help defense. Obviously, they have the outside shooters to kick out. If, say, a guy like Randall comes out and helps down low off of no one's hedge, right? But I would just love to see that aggressive defense by big on Trae Young and IQ's defense at the same time. And I think this is the same one I showed before. Yep, that's the same one I showed before. Hold up. Let me try to get to the last one. I think this is the one where he scored. Yeah, there's like the last points of the game. I think the last shot by Trae Young, and obviously drops is way too late. Way too late. Again, I would love for Tom Thibodeau and Trae Young. I would love for Tom Thibodeau to implement the ice pick and roll for IQ. I would love to see the ice pick and roll, especially with centers who can't shoot. Like Capella's not a shooter, so if you ice the pick and they try to make that pass in the high middle near the top, like just inside the top of the key, I don't see how that doesn't shut down a team like the Hawks. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. But again, IQ, his footwork on defense was his footwork, his IQ, no pun intended, was beautiful. Now I want to show a few clips regarding his overall intelligence, his court awareness. Chuck, wherever you are at, Chuck, hating on my son IQ. Look at that dribble drive, kick out to Quentin Grimes in the corner, beautiful. This is something that now I was gonna compare this to Kemba Walker, but unfortunately, boy, Kemba Walker ain't playing no more, at least for the time being. Again, another. Is this the same one? I would love to. Is this the kick out? Nope. This is where he traps him on the hip and throws up the floater for Obi. Beautiful. And for the people, again, people look at this as easy, man. That's not I believe that's Delon Wright. Catches him on the hip. The only thing I would ask him just to get a little bit closer, but he already has Obi. He already has he has Obi in the alley, but who the hell is that? It's Gallinari. He already has Gallinari kind of stuck, and Gallinari's not a great defender, right? You don't see him as a great help defender, so I mean he has the advantage. IQ, I mean, this boy is growing. He did his homework this season. Oh. Yeah, he did his homework this season, man. I'm extremely impressed with him. You know, Nick G talked about how Tom Thibodeau was trying to groom him to be the starting point guard, and I agree with that 1,000%. Now, granted, Burks is back, and he's the starting guard now. Now, this play, I love this. I love this assist, man. This is chess, not checkers right here. Now, look who Obi has on him. Obi, I think it should have been. Now, the Hawks fall asleep on this one, right? It should have been Gallo on Obi and Lou Williams on Grimes, right? But the Hawks fall asleep on this one. IQ sees a mismatch. He sees it right away. Now, I'm not sure what he's saying, but he seems to call out or he wants the customary screen they typically run, and they get the big to set the screen for the guys on the wing on the top of the key. IQ asked for the screen by Sims to clear it out because I believe that's John Collins, right? And Obi has a free away. This is like, oh my gosh. It's simple, right? But it's so effing smart, like, and it's quick. It looks like, oh, he's just throwing up another alley-oop. No. He's telling Sims, get the F out of here. Take your man out and let me now get the pass because he has the advantage on Lou Williams. Gallinari is way too late, and that's how you take advantage of the team. And one. So with IQ, man, we got to give props to the kid. The kid is growing. I love it. And I actually had a chart to show him and Kemba. I guess I'll show. I want to be rude to Kemba, but, Kemba's out and all. But, oh, it don't show my chart. Oh, y'all bugging. Hold on. My chart is, they wildin'. Hold on. I got it right here. Hold on. Technical difficulties. Let me see. This should be it. Yep. Sorry about that. So Kemba Walker versus IQ, man. You saw the points. Obviously, Kemba's averaging a little bit more. And this is before everything that happened today. Wow, my bad. I'm so sorry. My son, Miles McBride. I'm so sorry. I just saw him dunk on somebody fast. Oh, my son. Yo, it's okay, man. Let me get back to the show, man. Miles McBride, eat your food, son. 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 I'm sorry, my bad. Apologies. So you see here in this chart, Kemba Walker versus IQ. Why I was clamoring for IQ to take that starting position. You see it. Now, the points, whatever, that's fine. The assists, whatever. But look at that pick and roll scoring. Now, I could show all the stats or whatever. I didn't want to bog you down, but he's a better pick and roll scorer than Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker, typically, if he's not scoring, if you're playing drop coverage or the guard gets screened away enough away from him, then he'll maybe take another shot into the mid-range and shoot the shot. It's something I thought would be a strength this season. Obviously, it's not come to fruition like you like it, but really Kemba Walker's only offense is really shooting those threes immediately off the screen versus IQ, who could take the floater. His mid-range shots come along, even though it's not the greatest of sample sizes yet, and he can shoot the three off the screen. He's just much more dynamic player. Now he has that little high kiss off the glass layup this season. IQ, I'm telling you, he's growing right before our eyes, man. We gotta pay attention to this kid's development. Salute to everybody in the chat, man. I apologize if I didn't call you out, man. Salute to East Blue Drew, Anthony 212, and Wakolo, IQJ, man. Salute to you guys, man. Salute. Hit the like, subscribe to the channel. AB in the building, IQJ. Salute to IQJ, man. I haven't seen us doing a while, man. Christopher M, salute. Malik, salute. IKBM, salute. Wilson Dang, salute. John P. Kennedy, Julian Tran in the building. Salute to all you guys, man. Big Shiesty. I was gonna say Pooh Shiesty. I was about to sing that song they had with Little Dirk. Salute to all you guys, man. Spanish Harlem, Kenal, Ben Lawa, salute. Sarah, salute to all you guys, man. Hinton Murphy, salute. Kendall Rivera, salute. Jay Boogie in the building, salute. Young Simba, salute. Yes. And by the way, we're being sponsored by DraftKings.com. Please go to DraftKings.com and download the Sportsbook app where you can put down $1 today and win a bunch of money in the future. You can put $1 today and win off of bets where if either team wins, you win money. So go to DraftKings.com today, download the Sportsbook app, and bet away some money to make a lot. DraftKings, is it in you? All right, back to this chart. So again, Kemba versus IQ. Also the pick and roll passing. Better turnover percentage. Better passing, period. When do you really see Kemba Walker really passing with the pick and roll? When do you really see Kemba Walker passing that much, period? Can't find a slip pass. It's a guy slipping to the basket. Can't make the pass transition. But just off the pick and roll pass is something that we run. Obviously, every team, most teams in the NBA run ad nauseum. Something that we live and die by a lot with our guards. Kemba Walker was not up to snuff compared to some of these other guys. And then you look at the on and off offensive rating of the team. Obviously, Kemba Walker, 105 to 113. 105 points per 100 possessions versus 113 for Kemba. We're just a weaker team offensively because if he's not scoring off the screens, what else is he doing? Can't get to the basket, can't really attack, can't really explode the knee. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to ish on him. I'm not trying to hate on him. Yo. Hold up. I'm sorry, my bad. I just got caught off guard. The dude that is reffing number 83 in the Westchester game, I'm pretty sure he went to my school. But I have to go check out his name. But I'm sorry. I called me off guard. Let me focus on it. So again, with IQ, my bad. With IQ, yo, he did. Oh crap. Yo, I'm about to help everybody from my school. But anyway, back to the game. Back to this breakdown. As you see from the offensive rating, IQ's just a better guard overall, passing, scoring wise. And the defensive rating too, opponents' defense. Like, bro, Kemba Walker he was getting exploited. We talk about this help defense, right? Last season, we were allowing a lot of threes from the floor, right? But we were able to guard it, and I would love to find this information. I got to find some place that provides me this information. But we were just, it was a lot easier, it was a lot more effective because we were probably forcing teams. Just seems from my perception, we were forcing a lot of teams to shoot later in the shot clock. Those threes, right? When there's a kind of more bang-bang play versus teams be able to get out in rhythm. Because you had guys like Bullock, you had guys like Elfrid Payton who were able to guard some of the top guards and wings in the league. Kemba just can't do it. Go back to that Pacers game. He was getting mollywopped. He was getting abused by Brogdon. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. I feel bad, you know what I mean? Because, but sometimes it's not better to come back home. And everybody got caught up in New York, he's coming back home. I'm like, yo, bro, he has arthritic knee. Oh, what do you know about that? Well, I have arthritic knee too. Oh, you don't know. You think you know everything. I'm like, all right, well, I'm cautiously optimistic. Oh, why are you hating? Okay, all right, cool. All right. And then you see it. Kemba Walker's losing the ball when he's simply dribbling the ball, maybe get out a little bit in front of him. He's falling to the floor. I feel bad, son, but it's like we have to temper expectations. And look at that plus minus with Randall. Kemba Walker had a minus 12.3 with Julius Randall, while the guy that everybody thinks can't start had a plus 16.9. And this is obviously with Kemba Walker being out when IQ's in and IQ being out when Kemba Walker's in, according to Clean the Glass. Fourth quarter plus and minus, and obviously I was mostly talking about who should start. But even closing out, Kemba Walker was not trusted to be out there in those fourth quarters. He can't. He just can't. IQ was closing out these games, hitting big threes, making great assists. He just can't. So I'm not trying to ish on your boy, Kemba, but it is what it is. So we might as well get to what Tom Thibodeau said today. You know what I'm saying? Tom Thibodeau came out today. It was just like, yo, doggy, it's finito, man. Finito schmitos, you know what I'm saying, man? It's like, yo, I try what this front office wanted, man, but it ain't kosher, you know what I'm saying? It don't got the matzo ball and the chicken soup, you know what I'm saying, man? What the hell am I talking about? But I'm trying to load this damn video, but give me 2 seconds as I transition. So let me know if you hear a double voice or something like that, and I'll let Tom Thibodeau speak. Here we go.
We're going to make a change. It's going to be the we're going to make a change. Alex going to be the starter. So I like the way that we played like that.
What went behind that decision?
Yeah, I just don't like the way we've been trending, the inconsistency of our team, and we're going to try to make a change. I want to get bigger. I want our defense to be more intact. So basically that was it. We got to do something different.
Tom, you mentioned the defense being more intact. You played like a number of different coverages defensively against Atlanta. How did Burke's presence allow you to be able to...
The size is the big thing. It makes us bigger. It's like we've got small guards, and so when you add him to the mix, it gives us size at that position.
Hey, yo.
And it allows us to do some different things that I thought were beneficial to the group. So the big thing is getting bigger.
Hey, pause.
And then, at times we've played very good defense, and other times we haven't. And we've just been inconsistent. And so we're 20 games into it, and we want to take a look at something different.
How did you think you guys did against when you switched on ball screens against those guys?
Well, we have a number of switching partners, so that's a normal part of it. And then you also have situations in which you switch, like if you're down in the clock. But when you have that type of size, it allows you to do more switching. And I think that it does help. It helps with the rebounding. It helps with getting control of the ball. It's harder to make passes out to the opposite corner and that sort of thing. So, and how we finish our defense is important. The rebounding piece of it, the closing out piece of it. So I did like the size.
Hey.
Kemba now slot in with the second unit, or how will it be part of?
Well, I want to tighten up the rotation. I like the way the team functions, so it'll be similar to what we did in the Atlanta game.
So Kemba's out of the rotation?
As of right now, yes.
Yikes.
Did you talk to him about that? How did he take that?
Yeah, it's part of it. It's a tough decision to make, but you always have to do what you think is best for the team. I view Kemba as a starter, and so it'd be tough to, play three small guards together. I gave it consideration, and I've got great respect for who Kemba is as a person, number one, and all that he's accomplished in this league. So, but I have to do what I think is best for the team.
Damn, son. Damn, of course my OBS messes up my picture. Of course my OBS messes up my picture. It's just OBS. Why would you move my camera out the way like that? But damn, son. Damn, Kemba, son. Your boy's gone. I have all these slides, of course. I tried to set it up, but freaking OBS had to fix it. But OBS. But damn, son. Y'all heard Tom Thibodeau. You've heard that, and that's what I'm gonna say, man. I think, and by the way, when I'm saying pause and Tom, I'm joking, man. To Tom Thibodeau, man. I think he's been a good coach for this team. I like his style of coaching. I like his style of development on this team. But damn, son, like there's something between Tom Thibodeau and the front office. And granted, Kemba Walker was a late arrival, a late get, if you will. So I don't blame Kemba Walker so much. It is what it is. Look, he did the buyout. He took a chance on himself. It didn't work. Obviously now everybody knows that knee is legitimately not good. Everybody in New York was hyping it up, or a lot of people, it's Kemba. This was not going to be the same Kemba Walker. I was watching, and a lot of you have. I'm not saying I'm above anybody. A lot of us were watching the whole Kemba Walker saga in Boston, and he just was not healthy. He was playing off of Tatum and Brown. He missed the last two games of the playoffs against the Nets. Like, he just was not healthy, man. I think that we have to temper expectations. There's a reason why a 19-point-a-game scorer is available. That just doesn't happen. Yeah, I mean, unless there's something truly wrong. And granted, he wasn't even shooting all that well, efficiently-wise. But the dude is about done, man. And I think that Tom Thibodeau, and Nick G, I'm going to give credit, because Nick G called out before anybody says I'm taking his thoughts, but he brought up first that he thinks that Tom Thibodeau was developing Kemba Walker, Emmanuel Quickley to be the starting point guard. And I think that the front office came and said, hey, we probably need some depth. Let's go. Well, we need some depth with Burks, and then let's go with the name and Kemba Walker. I think the front office saw the Kemba Walker thing probably more so as a marketing ploy. There's a reason why it was Kemba, not Randall, on the whole New Jersey layout, which is going to be awkward now because he's not playing. He might get cut. And you still might see some lingering ads for that jersey. So, but I think that I think that Tom Thibodeau, the way that IQ was developing his court awareness, you saw in the summer league, where he was making a concerted effort to make passes to players, even guys who not NBA material, Travis Reeds and Wayne Selden's. No offense to those guys. You saw IQ developing that, and you saw and also another thing too. Tom Thibodeau was at those summer league games, and I won't say he was coaching, because it's Daisuke Yashimoto, who's a coach. But he was out there pissed. Go back to that Detroit Pistons game where they got mollywopped. And he was out there like, he wanted to blow a gasket, but he didn't want to let Daisuke handle it. But he was out there, he was making mental notes. You saw him. So I think IQ is the heir apparent at the guard position. And it's just a matter of time. The front office, I guess, they have their own. And again, I think there's one of my things that I think that we learned this season, I think that there's a certain disconnect between the front office and Tom Thibodeau. So it's interesting to see how Tom Thibodeau again. Well, I guess not that interesting because he does his whole 20-game mark. But, he's at the 20-game mark, and he's seen that Kemba Walker just ain't it. Him trying to force this guy to be something he's not and try to go back to, the Charlotte Hornet days is just not going to work. And as you see it from this chart, like I showed you, with Kemba Walker and Quickley, it's just not gonna hold up. But now you have Burks as a star. Now again, Burks is he's an interesting guy because he's not really a playmaker. So Tom Thibodeau, I guess, is still trusting Randall to be the key playmaker in the starting lineup, and I guess that works because Burks is a guy who gets white hot, right? And Tom Thibodeau plays as combo guard, so I guess it's just more so running through sets. You don't need a prototypical point guard to really set up everything, since I guess it's the schemes are going to be run anyway, and everybody's going to know what to do, where to be at, whether it's the pistol, whether it's the horns, whatever it may be. But I would prefer IQ out there. Now, I'm going to get this chart that I have between Burks and IQ when I'm breaking it down. And to me, now granted, Burks off the pick and roll is more prolific compared to IQ. But I think that I just prefer IQ more than Burks. I think Burks get the little mid-range shot. He can trap guys over the hip. I do think he is a little bit more narrow in his thinking when he attacks off the pick and roll, even though the numbers right there may not say it, given the fact that he ranks higher than IQ, and he also has a lower turnover percentage. But I think that's just, I don't know, man. I just think it's more so him being more veteran savvy than IQ. But when you look at that minus with Randall, right? When you look at the lineups with those two, with Randall and IQ still has a bigger plus minus, and he has a positive plus minus versus Burks and Randall, right? So I end up in suit to Anthony 212 says IQ's our closer. I like IQ to be our starter. I think IQ is a smart player. I think he's heady. I think he plays good defense. Not granted, Burks has been playing good defense. I ain't taking another away from him, but I think Burks is more so of an effort thing right now. I've seen Burks kind of play back in the Atlanta Hawks game, get beat a few times, even though he did play good defense overall. I just think that IQ, that dimension where he can trap players, like he can get players into disadvantageous positions on the floor, I think it's just so much more. It's just so much better for the Knicks versus Burks' defense. So I think Burks should still come off the bench and still lead that second unit. Now you have to take into account guys like Obi. Who does Obi do better with? I presume it'd probably be IQ. And obviously I'm leaving Rose out because Rose is not playing right now. But I guess IQ be man that second unit, man. But this is tough, man. I like IQ over Burks, but we'll see. Burks is 6'5". Tom Thibodeau likes big combo guards, to play up against other teams. You still have Fournier in there, who is 6'7", but he plays like he's 6'2" in terms of his defense. So we'll see. But right now, man, Kemba Walker is out of the rotation. It's tough, man. But salute to Kemba Walker, man. You've been a sport. I was kind of feeling some way when you talking about Danny Ainge, when he tried to get you in that regimen to kind of get you healthy again, and you kind of, I don't say blew him off, but pause could be you kind of push it aside. I thought that was a canary in a coal mine to kind of tell us that this dude, something is up with this dude, and it proved right. So let's see. I mean, I don't know if he's gonna come in rotation. Henson's made a point of, look, if you're gonna have, I still think you get some value out of him playing more off the ball as a catch and shoot weapon. But it seems like Tom Thibodeau said that he's gonna cut the rotation down. It seems like he wants that tight rotation of 9 guys. So I guess there's no real space for a guy like Kemba Walker. So he'll probably be looking to go to another team because it's just gonna be awkward with him there. But we got a caller calling in. Hold on, and I got a freaking Nextiva messes up my audio. So just give me 2 seconds. You might be dropped. The call back in. Anthony Dunbar, how are you, my guy? Anthony. Can you hear me? I think he dropped the phone call. All right, call back, Anthony. I don't know why you dropped it, but yeah. All right, so let's move on to the next segment. As Anthony, if you want to call back in, you definitely call back in. You're gonna get to what have we learned in these first 20 games so far, right? Obviously Kemba Walker's not the answer at PG, and I had this before the whole thing that happened today. Tibbs needs defense in his backcourt. RJ Barrett is regressing. Why? The league has figured out Julius Randle. Can't handle the Randle. The bench is Tom Thibodeau's offensive reach. What I mean by that is that he's allowed to experiment with a lot more because his best player, there's a ceiling. He's capped. Your boy Julius Randle is capped in that regard. And man, Quickley is Tom Thibodeau's future at point guard. Something I just went through. There's a disconnect between the front office and Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau's ready to come out and kind of expose the front office for some of their BS with things like the Yashimoto clause. Let me get to Anthony Dunbar. Yo, Anthony, salute my guy.
G Nizzy.
Yo, bro.
What's going on, Kenneth?
It's a different day today, man. It's a different day today, man. I know you're a Mets fan.
I need to.
You know.
I need to ask you a question, Killer.
Go ahead, sir.
Why are you apologizing for Tibbs doing what Tibbs didn't want to do in the first place?
That's true, but you know what it is? I feel bad for Kemba. I do feel a little bad for Kemba, but Tom Thibodeau, look, man, this front office, I don't trust these guys, dude. I don't think they're really in line with what Tom Thibodeau wants to do, and so I feel bad for Kemba. I'm not really apologizing for Tom because Tom Thibodeau's, look, I'm here to win games. I'm not here to I'm not here to follow behind people who don't know basketball in the form of guys like Leon. I'm not here for that, man. You guys are here to allow William Worldwide West to give people Mother Teresa hugs at games and stuff to try to recruit them because that works. You know what I mean? Tom Thibodeau's here to win games, man. So I just feel bad for Kemba. Like, it is kind of embarrassing. It seems like he tried to give it a go. It just didn't work. It is what it is. But, you know, I agree with Tom Thibodeau. I have no problem with what he did, man. I salute the dude, man. I'm team Tom Thibodeau right now, man. So, hey, it is what it is.
The only thing I would say with that is I wouldn't have put Burke in the starting lineup.
I agree. I want IQ there.
I think you putting Burke in the starting lineup is something you would do in the playoffs. This right here reeks of desperation. I wouldn't have. I would have gone IQ. I'll tell you this. I would have even gone Grimes because I've been saying this. I've been saying this since the preseason that we've got a lot of good young talent that I know in doing practice they're kicking the vet's ass. There's no way Kemba and them boys is running with Grimes and McBride and those young horses. There is no way. And this is how you know there's two camps. Because you brought in two offensive guys that were never known to play defense. Okay? I said this before. I could name 75 players better than 48. I could name 85 players better than 48.
Oh, man.
That's just the real. So you can't tell me that Tibbs, watching these guys come in, was like, yo, he's a defensive guy. You brought in two guys who can't play a lick of defense.
And you know, to that, Coach Colorblocks had a great point about that the front office, because they're bringing in these analytics guys, that Fournier was an analytics hire, right? If you talk like Fournier, I don't think is a Tibbs guy. Like if you had a Fournier, Tibbs he would be coming off the bench for Tibbs, right? A shooter role, coming and give you a quick 10, maybe 12 points in the second half, something like that, with the second rotation. He's not really a Tibbs guy. You know what I mean? So, and I think that Tom Thibodeau wanted IQ to be the starting point guard. The way they were developing this summer, it just seems that way. And I think that the front office kind of overruled it. Like, nah. Like, Tibbs was at the summer league games, and if y'all could find tape or whatever, like, bro, he was angrier than Daisuke Yashimoto at some of the play from the Knicks. Like, he was invested in IQ becoming the starting guard this season. Now, granted, I do believe that I think he does want some stability in the form of a Burks. But I do think that IQ will become the starting guard. And here's another thing, too. This is why I don't think he's allowing IQ to become a starting guard just yet. I still think that he's waiting for Randall to turn it around, right? As an overall scorer and playmaker. He's trying to get Randall to figure it out because you know why? IQ represents he represents the other general that Tom Thibodeau wants to lead on. Like, IQ is smart enough, cerebral enough, a guy that can follow under Tom Thibodeau's tutelage, will do everything Tom Thibodeau wants to do on the floor, right? So he already has as a constant. He wants to see if he can get Julius Randle to elevate his game mentally and get there with him. Because once IQ's on the floor, how much you want to bet that all those other players besides Randle that starting lineup are going to follow under IQ's point guard play? Because if you go back and watch the last game, the end of the game, we all called it out. When Randle, IQ was basically, I won't say he screamed on him, but kind of barked on him to go and set a screen. I forgot for who exactly at the end of the game. And Randle kind of did a little arm shove, like an arm thing, like ignoring him. But if you see on the court, look what RJ said. RJ said, look, It seems like the bench unit is a party. That's a different team than the Knicks right now. And they're doing what Tom Thibodeau wants to do. And IQ, outside of Rose, is a face of that. So I think Tom Thibodeau's given a little grace period, little leeway for Randall. Hey, you got to figure it out until I bring in like the totalitarian rule. Like, yo, now I'm going to bring in IQ. All right, we're going to run the things I want to run, play in, play out. I'm not saying they're going to call out the plays exactly, but we're not going to be running the Randall-centric offense once IQ's a starting guard. Yeah, I mean, so I think that Tom Thibodeau, who's fair, he's saying, Randall, get it together. Figure it out.
But this is what you got, and you know, it's like when ODB made that catch on Sunday night. It was the worst thing. It was the worst thing for the Giants. Randall being second team All NBA was the worst thing for the Knicks. You see, because he's not that nice. He's a good ball player, okay? He's not that nice. And when you have a front office, okay, that's looking to make a Fournier move in the offseason, okay? Look at this for a second here. Let's go back to last trading deadline. Toronto traded Powell for Trent Jr. Who would you rather have right now? Fournier or either one of those two guys that went for one another?
You know, I already said I would give up a first for Gary Trent. You already know that. I already said I'd give up a first for Gary Trent. Because the thing about it, you weren't going to get from the Raptors. I understand that. But the Blazers were not going to re-sign Gary Trent Jr. Their books are cooked. So they were not going to give Gary Trent Jr. a deal. I wanted to give Gary Trent Jr. a deal. I know he's come off the bench.
Okay.
I wanted him. So I agree with you in that regard. I feel like the front office, you got a bunch of adults up there, bro. You got Worldwide West, who I'll admit it. I thought he'd be a snake, and I thought he'd be able to weave his way and get. He ain't getting nobody. They had to make up a fake story about Worldwide West wanting IQ when it was Daisuke Yachimoto this whole time that put it together. Leon Rose, and I got to agree with some of what these guys, Hinton and Coach Kolbach, saying. These guys are scam artists a little bit. I'll say a little. Leon Rose's guys, they didn't really have a plan. They needed Tom Thibodeau to get Derrick Rose back from the Pistons, or get him from the Pistons to come back to his. They didn't know what to do about a trade deadline. They really thought they were gonna. I think they really wanted to actually tank. But once they realized, okay, Tom Thibodeau, we hired a win first coach who can teach defense and at least win on that principle of defense. They didn't know what to do with that anymore. They didn't know how to pivot. Tom Thibodeau's one of that guys, Derrick Rose. So I'm not this front office, bro. They got. I know. Tom Thibodeau's old. He's up there. He's probably gonna retire soon, but he's still showing the fervor and the fire to coach. They got to put a little bit more trust in him. I understand he had a terrible go as a coach / GM in Minnesota, but you got to put a little bit more trust in him and get him the horses that could get him to the dance or whatever you want to call it, the playoffs, whatever you want to call it. This is trash. Now he has to rely on these. And granted, people say. I do want to start playing these rookies and whatnot, but I think that he has a certain way to develop these guys where he gives them spurt minutes here and there, not relying on like how he did with IQ last year. But thank God IQ's a decent player, and he's somebody that Tom Thibodeau fits well with Tom Thibodeau. And you know what too? IQ got those minutes because Daisuke Yachimoto. That's the reason why. Now you can argue that Obi got minutes too, but I think it's mostly because of front office. But IQ got minutes because that was Daisuke Yachimoto's pick, and he trusts his guy. Because remember. They mix up the coaching staffs. That's not all Tom Thibodeau's coaching staff. So it's like he has to trust his. It's like Game of Thrones, right? You got Johnny Payne waiting in the wings, possibly about to take the coaching job, whatever. Maybe in the next few years, if Leon Rose's guys won't do it, then you got Tom Thibodeau as coach. So this whole thing is a cluster F, man. But I'm cool with the movement. I agree with you. I want an IQ to start because I just think that IQ's a smart dude, and I feel like IQ be the one to bark on Randall out there. IQ be the one that he be setting up plays and just ignoring Randall if he's not. Instead of doing a whole forcing it to, because that's what you should have had from Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker should have came in and directed traffic, directed the offense.
Did not have command. He did not have command from day one. You could see it. He's a nut. There's no bigger Kemba Walker fan than myself. I remember that UConn run like yesterday.
Yes.
I wanted Kemba here 4 or 5 years ago when he was a free agent. I was like, this is where you make that move. This is the feel-good story that you make when he's 24, not 31, and he hasn't injured his knee. You You have the best doctors in the world at your beck and call. You're gonna tell me that these doctors signed off on you giving $6 million, $8 million to a man with bone on bone?
They were thinking marketing dollars. They were thinking marketing dollars. Yo, we could the whole coming back. Let me say something.
He was not that kind of player. He wasn't going to shift the needle in New York like that. He's not that kind of a ball player.
Nope.
So this is how I know that there's going to be some Brutus and some Caesar stuff going to be happening here quite shortly. Okay. And Rose, I'm here to tell you, Tibbs was here in New York a lot longer than you were when you were just sitting around trying to get players deals. Okay? I know you brought him in here, but let's see how loyal he is to you when it comes down to it. Anyway, my brother, I'm a roll. You already know what it is, fam. Knicks fan for life.
That's my brother, man, Anthony Dunbar, man. That dude's bringing a fire, man. That dude's bringing a fire, man. But yeah, I'm sorry. I was going on a rant about the IQ and Yashimoto thing. It just dawned on me how it's like there is a legit disconnect between his front office and Tom Thibodeau. Whereas like they maybe gave him carte blanche or whatever to have the second pick, the second first rounder, but they had to pick Obi to so-called make a splash. And Obi has been improving, but Obi is just over Vassell. Over Halliburton. We got to watch out for these things, man. Tom Thibodeau, again, is working with crumbs, man. He's been left out on the island. He doesn't have a lot of help, unfortunately. But let me get some of your comments before we continue. Suit to everybody in the chat, man. We got 163 people watching. Golly, on a weekly? Damn, so I apologize for not having weeklies, man. I've been so freaking busy. I postponed this damn weekly like 30 billion times, man. I apologize. We got Jimmy UCLA in the building. Tibbs has a history of quarrels with front offices. Harold tackles cornerback. Says, y'all expectation of the squad is too high. No. I'm not going to lie. I did have my high end was at 50 games. But my low end was at 45. Yeah, Vassell's solid. And I like Vassell a lot. I know he comes off the bench. But Tom Thibodeau had... Popovich has his plan of execution in terms of developing players. I already see how they're going to develop Vassell. Let me see. Nick Ewing, salute. After selling out his damn jersey, they dropped him all the way out of the rotation foul, man. But the jersey thing is not him. That is a front office. And they just showed him, damn, that's bad. That's on a front office. Tom Thibodeau don't care about jersey sales, bro. Tom Thibodeau don't care about none of that. Come on, dogs. Hector Gaston, get Jovic. Yo, salute to Nikolai Jovic, man. Yeah, I've been watching so much this past. So I just finished I watched Jabari Smith versus UCF. I'm also gonna do a video on Rokobitis, man. Suit to my guy Chase Stacks. What's good, Gmo? You know we want to hear your take. Oh, nah, man, I want to hear y'all takes, man. We good, man. Salute to all you guys, man. Your son Deuce ripped someone and dunked. Yeah, I saw it, bro. Yes, I saw both dunks. One of the fast break by himself, and he dunked on that light skin dude with the braids. I don't know what it is, but yeah, Deuce. Yeah. Deuce is coming. Deuce is coming to the Knicks. He's coming. Don't. I already gave you out a vision. I already gave out a vision on Deuce McBride. Deuce Trey. You know what I'm saying, man? Suit to Deuce McBride, man. Imani Bates in Memphis. Imani Bates is a nut. He is a nut. I like his talent, but that what game did I see? Was it Western Virginia, Western Kentucky, Western with like it's like a lower tier team, and that was a game where like Jalen Durden didn't take a shot until like the second half, something like that. Bates be going, he's a little nutty. Plays a little bit too loosey goosey, so him being there for 2 years will definitely help out. But he's talented. I like his talent. Suit to Tricky Nicky says Leon Rose has proven himself to be mediocre at best. He completely bungled the draft in the offseason. Hey now. Wilson Dang in Pastor's IQ's name, amen. I'm just telling you, bro. I see IQ and Randall. I don't say coming to blows, but there's gonna be a clash, and I think that Tom Thibodeau is trying to allow Randall to get it together. I think that because there's still talent in Randall. Like, you can't sit here and say that Randall doesn't have any talent. And the kid already took so much of a leap from the guy took so much of a leap from last year. You're hoping that he gets it mentally. That's it. It's about him being dedicated on the pick and roll, on the defensive end. It's about him. And I guess let's get to the Julius Randle thing. The league figuring out Julius Randle, right? So it's about Julius Randle figuring out. You see him out there kind of being confused on certain, like, in terms of how to create his own shot outside of just a post. The NBA knows what his post moves are. Operates from the high post. You saw in the Chicago game where he literally had, yo, bro, he had the post up down low and just for win it. Like he had the deep post up down low against was it Javonte Green? And he just gave it up because he wanted to force he want to waste time and force the high post up. Like he has to get it. Now this season, Julius Randle is averaging 19.2 points, 10.2 rebounds, 5 assists, 41% shooting, 36% from three. Now, granted, last season, I'm not exactly sure what he shot. I think he was shooting better from outside last season. But obviously last season we had really no offense. We had nothing really. So we needed Julius Randle to basically be our key playmaker. And he's shown, the ball being in his hands, he had a 29% usage rate. He showed himself to be valuable in that regards. But this season, the league has caught up to him. Now it's up to him to figure it out mentally. And it's tough because he said there are rumors that he wanted to make adjustments during the Atlanta Hawks game, want to be put deeper in the post. So is it Tom Thibodeau thing? Was it him? I don't know. But him being on the outside when he should be on the inside trying to expose the help defense by Capella, when he should be using the pick and roll to unlock not just his game, but guys like Fournier. He kind of didn't help out. I know Kemba's now on the bench, but he kind of didn't really help out Kemba Walker either on some of some of the screens. Doesn't help out RJ Barrett. If Sabonis can do that for his teammates, and I'm sorry, Randall, Sabonis is a better player. You could do that. And you're going to get I would say easy, but better shots at the rim. Like I just don't know. I don't know how. Like I would love to interview Julius Randle and just pick his brain and be like, why don't you want to run that as much? Like what is like is obviously you wouldn't tell me if he's hurt or not because I probably hurt his money. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's guaranteed, so I guess not won't hurt his money, but it just hurt. He wouldn't want to tell people his injury history or injury condition. But I just want to ask, like, why don't you roll to the basket? It'll create much more of a fluid offense. This 5-out, 4-out concept doesn't work because if we don't get something more of the first initial screens, we don't have knockdown shooters. We're not the Clippers, right? When they have Kawhi, PG, we don't have the manpower where guys can create their own shots with 7 seconds left to go on the clock. We need you to be a battering ram in some games. Sabonis is averaging 14 points a game? But that offense looks a lot better between Sabonis and Miles Turner because he's a compromising player. He's a conceding player. He allows his game to be. He uses his game to benefit others. Look how many screens Sabonis sets a game for Brogdon, Karis LeVert. How many kickouts does he make when he's rolling to the basket? He has a shot to the basket, doesn't take it, kicks it out. I need Randall to be much more of a conceding, compromising, playing a good way to make teammates around him better. And what better way by using that pick and roll? What better way by deploying yourself deep in the paint? If Cat can do it, even though Cat is 6'11", 7 feet, you could do the same thing as well too. Doesn't make sense for Julius Randle because you're not elite like that. You're not Jokic. You're not one of these players. As much as I appreciate your upcoming is that a word? No, comeuppance. Excuse me. Last season, but gotta find another way, man. RJ Barrett. My son RJ Barrett is struggling, man. It hurts to see, man. You know what I'm saying? We talked about it ad nauseum about RJ Barrett and, him working on acceleration, deceleration. Why isn't my freaking keyboard working? I'm trying to get to the RJ Barrett page for some reason. It's not. Oh, this thing kills me, bro. Why isn't this working? Sorry, guys. Hold up. Give me 2 seconds. OBS is acting stupid. Shiza, humanizer. Why isn't this working, dogs? All right. Boy, Jesus. It actually should have shown the overall team. What's it? I guess I'll show that later. Why is this doing to me? So anyway, RJ through 20 games. He's not doing as good as he did last season. And last season he wasn't even doing good. He was struggling shooting from the floor. We all saw it. Obviously, look, his assists are also down too. Rebounds slightly down, even though I don't think that's a major concern. Even the assists too, because I think the assists, I'm not sure what his usage rate is. RJ Barrett stats. It's probably at that 24-25 mark. Usage. No, he's at 22.5%. He has less usage than last season, which was less than his rookie season, right? But this year he's obviously struggling. 3-point shooting is slightly better because last year he was struggling terribly. But again, from the field he's doing poorly. Free throw line, he's missing some gimmies. Even though his defense this season, his defensive field goal percentage is slightly better. He is doing better at the rim versus on the outside of the 3-point line, which I believe he did better last season, but he is doing better at the rim. If you go to NBA.com, go to NBA defensive dashboard. But RJ Barrett, you can see now there was news that RJ Barrett may have had some back issues or something like that. That he's been wearing like heat pads, whatever. I ain't making no excuses for RJ Barrett's game, but the things that we talk about this summer, you're not seeing as much. You see it sometimes. You saw him do in a few games. You saw little spurts where he was doing a way better job of when he was attacking the basket, kind of cheating, using his arm to gain leverage. He was taking closer steps to the basket to finish close to the basket. You see it, but these past few games, he's pressing. He's taking some really bad shots, forced some bad shots at the rim. He's not getting into rhythm, right? RJ Barrett, I think, is a rhythm player operating from the wing. But I would love for RJ Barrett against usage rate of 22.5%. We should round up as 23%, but it's still not good. You talking about a guy you thought he was going to be a button playmaker. He spent time with Team Canada, playing with a guy like Andrew Wiggins. And he looked a lot better, even though his field goal percentage wasn't great. I think his 3-point percentage wasn't great. I think his field goal percentage was decent or good. I forgot what it was exactly. I think it was actually above 45%. I might be wrong. But what is it with RJ Barrett, man? How do we unlock RJ Barrett? Is it a sense of putting a ball in his hands a little bit more? I would love for him to be a playmaker, especially off these screens. Him and Randall, him and Mitchell Robinson. You already see it early in the pistol sets where him and Mitch Robinson were in the screen and roll early in counts. But how can we unlock RJ Barrett's scoring? Now this year he's actually shooting better at the rim than he did last season. He's shooting 57% from the rim this season. Shot 55% overall last season, which 57% is not great, but it's better. But again, how do we unlock RJ Barrett? And again, I think it's going to come from him and Randall having a better rapport on the court. And again, that's going to have to come from the screen and roll. You can't play 5 out and expect RJ Barrett then to attack the rim with the defense just sitting back or be able to close out. There's nothing stopping. There's just basically no chaos created. There's no space created on the court when it's just him and Randall kind of outside. You have a battering ram in Randall, and he's not helping a guy like RJ. It's just I gotta see him and RJ and Randall run the screen and roll more. Gotta have more of a cohesive one because it seems like he likes running with that second unit. He talked about it. He said that second. Not that he likes running, but it's just a different pace and energy. That's a very second. And I know he protected Randall in terms of his scoring games. RJ Barrett's a professional like that. He's a soldier. He's Jon Snow. You know what I'm saying? But RJ has to be unlocked. Now, I think he's going to warm up by the second half, so I'm not truly concerned. But it will help with him to have a partner in Randall to operate with. So next point in this, and I'm going to get to the total overall team production versus last season. I talked about the league has figured out Julius Randall. We talked about RJ Barrett. We talked about Tom Thibodeau needing defense in his backcourt to help defense. And as you can see from this chart, so I guess I might as well just go over the season comparison. So we flipped it. Last season we were 9-11. This year we're 11-9. But you see that. Look at that. Look at the opponent's 3-point percentage. 3-pointers made and attempted. And look at that attempted. Look how we were the same. It's close, basically in the 20s. But the ones that are made because that help defense, right? Tom Thibodeau needs his defensive guards. He needs his hound dogs to stop teams' dribble drive penetration, and then guys to reset out on the guys on the outside. And Kemba Walker and Fournier are just not doing. Now Fournier, I guess, would be staying in the lineup, but even he has to wake up. He talked about it years ago. Oh yeah, I had 2.5 defensive win shares, blah blah. This is like I think a year or the year after, a year or two after Clifford joined the Magic. Or sorry, either year before he came or the year after he came. I forgot which one it was where he averaged 2.5 win shares. But even him, his lateral movement is trash. His effort at time, his concentration has been trash. Tom Thibodeau, here's the thing about his team. The defense should invigorate you to play at your highest, as Semantic freaking allows the ball to be stolen. Semantic is anywho's. You gotta let the defense energize you. If you're having a bad game, 0 for 7, can't hit a shot, can't make a layup, make sure the other guy's not scoring. I talk about this all the time. And that's how you can win Tom Thibodeau's rotation. Get some minutes. Play hard-nosed, high effort, high octane. I would say high octane, but high effort defense. And Tom Thibodeau just needs that, man. So again, we see it. Tom Thibodeau had to take Kemba Walker out, put the bigger guards in. It is what it is. Peace to you, Kemba, man. No offense, but let's get to the next point. I'm sorry about these slides, man. OBS is bugging today. So yeah, the bench is Tom Thibodeau's offensive reach. So we've talked about it time and time again. Things like the Spain pick and roll. We talked about the variations from the horn sets we saw in the preseason. Unfortunately, you have Juice Randall there. He doesn't want to screen a lot of times. We even saw some motion offense. You still see it now. You see the double screen for the guy off the ball, which is a tenet of the motion offense, motion strong. But is it motion strong, motion weak? Now I'm messing up. Motion strong goes into a horn. Anyway, whatever. Motion offense. But that bench, again, look at the bench production this season. Just look at things from this bench. Points per game. Let me get it to a bigger screen. Let me see. All right, I can see it now. Fourth in the league in terms of points per game. A plus 3.9, which is second in the league out of all the benches. I believe the Warriors are the number one. I might be wrong. 3 players in the top 50 for plus minus. Derrick Rose, Quickley, topping. No starters. None of our starters are in the top 50 for plus minuses. 3-pointers made and attempted, we up there. As I can't even see. 3rd and 18th, excuse me. In terms of 3-pointers made. 100% in the 100 percentile in terms of rim protection. This doesn't include that lineup that I looked at. This is a corner cleaner glass. This is a lineup of Obi, Rose, IQ, Obi, Rose, IQ, Nerlens Noel, and Taj. No, it doesn't include Taj Gibson and Alec Burks. Number 1, the first in the league in the NBA, or number 1, sorry, in the 100 percentile in rim protection, giving up only 47.4% of the rim. And some hustle stats to throw in there in terms of screen assists. Nerlens Noel and Taj Gibson were in the top 20, 17th and 19th. And that was above Mitchell Robinson and then Randall, who were ranked 20th, 21st, maybe something like that. We have a bench where Tom Thibodeau can run with pace, has somebody actually rolls to the basket, a guy who can actually run baseline and cause havoc off the ball. Offense is nowhere near stagnant starting lineup. You have Derrick Rose, who's out there manning the offense, can facilitate, use a dribble, drive, penetration, draw the defenses in, kick it out. You have a guy in IQ who can hit the shot, who can hit the 3 off the ball. He can also attack, play a pick and roll. He can switch onto more favorable matchups by getting a little screen and switch, and then bring it over to the right to attack with his left for the floater. It's just so many more dimensions on offense in terms of what Tom Thibodeau can do versus what he can do with the starting lineup. Just because Randall is the Thanos. I don't even say Thanos, he's the Galactus of the starting lineup. You know what I'm saying? So again, this bench, now it'd be interesting to see. And to everybody in the chat, man, I apologize. We got 176 people watching, only 76 likes. Please hit the like, subscribe to the channel. Let me see. Kenny Payne says G League. Sims can replace Knowns well. We even talk about Sims. Sims is a decent game the other game against the Knicks. He's another option from the bench. Suits everybody in the chat, man. I think I sent the link up already. If you want to join, please don't be screwed up. Don't be drunk or anything. C-Mac says, no one gives RJ the ball. When he does get the ball, he's not in rhythm. RJ needs to get touches to get warmed up on the offensive end. I don't disagree. But he also has to make his shots. He has to meet us both ways. Let me see. Salute to Andrew Colquhoun, man. Salute my guy, man. Ultimately, salute. We don't have a ball handler good enough to put consistent pressure on the opposition defense. H Money, hell no. RJ is not Jon Snow. Oh, come on. Yes, he is. Son. He's a forgotten son, man. He's a stepchild, man. He's the one that no one. Actually, I guess because people love RJ Barrett, so I can't really use Jon Snow. I guess Rob Stark, but he got killed, so I ain't trying. Suta JJ says RJ mediocre at everything, honestly. Young Simmer, RJ thrives in up-tempo play style ever since Duke running with that starting unit that drains every possession for 21 seconds. We're not helping him. He needs to run and gun. Suta Kevin Middleton, he says beat Boston by 46 points in G League game, send knocks down there. So, yeah. And I think that with Tom, you just see so much experimentation with him now. How does he incorporate that into the starting lineup? And I think the best, most effective way would be by having a guard in IQ where you can run those sets and where everybody follows under it. And when Randall tries to go ISO and force these shots, it looks bad on him. Like he'd be pressured to kind of go with the flow, regardless of whether he feels it or not. Regardless of whether he feels, oh, I'm down because I'm not scoring 30 points tonight or 25, and it's not the same as last year. And somebody points out, I'm not trying to create gossip, but somebody points out that last game that Randall was not, he was the only one not cheering on the bench when the Knicks were going on their little run against the Hawks, which is not, if that's true, that's very unfortunate. But Randall, he allows his emotions to control his game a little bit too much, and vice versa. If you're doing bad, bro, you should be up there cheering. If it's a team concept, you can't talk about team concept, this and that, when it's all good, but then when you're struggling, you know what I mean, you kind of favor him. I'm not saying he is exactly, but he has to show a lot, he has to show that that these games he has to find another gear to his game. Where he can have those 15, 20-point games where he's not necessarily the man. He's not necessarily the focal point on offense, but he can still help to carry a team. So, it is what it is. But again, this bench, man, I'm excited to see what happens to the bench. Now you have Grimes coming into this rotation, getting some rotation of minutes. Not saying I'm crazy about Grimes. It's just I'm happy to see some of the young guys play. Obviously, got McBride down here in the G League. You also got Rokas Jokic, who's actually doing okay out there in Barcelona, even though I'm not crazy about him. But he's showing, and again, he's not going to play. I don't think he's obviously not going to play this season, but it is fun to see. And Jericho Sims coming in, going to give you some valuable minutes, given that Nones well and Taj are going to probably be having these knick-knack injuries, are going to be out. Taj more so growing a bit. The guys like Nones well is going to be banged up. It's nice to see Sims out there. Sims is setting screens. Sims is actually rolling to the basket. He's asserting himself on the rebounding end, crashing the boards, inviting himself into contact against the defenders when he's trying to crash boards, or the opposition when he's trying to crash boards. So again, I just the bench right now is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to behold. But again, you have to get. I just rather see IQ out there, because I think Burke looks for a shot a lot. He's veteran savvy. He knows what he's doing on the court. I just feel like IQ is just so much more of a better playmaker than your boy Burks. So let's get to the next point. And hold up, did I send out the link? I don't see any casuals, so I might just do it alone. Salute to Drip More Bakut. Salute my guy. Sims is quicker and stronger. The Nets took Blake out the rotation too. Tibbs equals Rex Ryan. That's the best way you could put it. If you're a Jets fan, you know exactly what I mean. I'm a Jets fan. He's not Rex Ryan. In terms of he knows defense in and out, yeah, but he's shown things on offense. It's just the players that we have, they're just not it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different. But is he Rex Ryan? Nah, Rex Ryan was doggy. Rex Ryan was a head case, man. As much as I love Rex Ryan, he was terrible on offense. He did not know how to coach up on offense. He really didn't know what he was doing out there on offense. And he was really a glorified coordinator. As much as it hurts me to say, he was really a glorified coordinator. So let's get to these next points. So I said, the Knicks' offensive reach. Emmanuel Quickley and Tibbs, a future point guard. Inside point guard. Yep, we talked about disconnect between the front office and Tom Thibodeau. Yes. I said the rookies will steal some minutes. Yes. And the trade is imminent. Yeah, I do think a trade is imminent. Now people talking about trading Burks. I think I did mention that before, but I think he's gonna he might look for another wing. It's tough to really see what you can really trade for. Obviously, you got guys like Josh Hart out there. Now, the big name, John Wall, is another name, I guess. I don't like John Wall at the point guard position, just because I think that him and Randall are two guys I'll be fighting for the ball, fighting for possessions. I know that, yes, can he assist? Can he play make? Yes. It's just you have two alphas out there, and I don't see John Wall as like this high IQ guard. He's still, again, his game is largely predicated off his top line speed. I think he just run into too many issues between him and Randall. And he has to agree to a damn buyout, which he doesn't want to do. Now he's putting on Twitter, oh, come free me. And I said, well, free yourself and agree to a damn buyout. You got paid a contract, the value of it, or it's a little over because you're not 100% healthy. Agree to a buyout and go to a team to win or go to a team to compete. But, I'm not the biggest fan of him. I'm gonna do a video regarding some of the trade targets. But obviously guys that come up, guys like Josh Hart. Some people, hinting, obviously, he wants your boy Brandon Ingram, but that's not going to happen. He's not coming to the Knicks. They're not going to trade RJ for Brandon Ingram right now. But a few names, guys like Anthony Simons is another one from the Blazers, but they're probably not going to trade him. He'd be cool. He'd be really good at the 2 guard position or the guard position for the Knicks, but I don't think they're going to get rid of him. You can look to the Pistons, who are, you could call in the rebuild mode. Do you go after a guy like Jeremy Grant? Was he 6'8", 6'9", 6'8", forward who could defend a little bit. He can score. He could do just about everything, but I don't think he fits that timeline with the Pistons. They got Sadiq Bey, they got Cade, they got Killian Hayes. He might be relatively cheap. You know what I mean? So it's tough to see exactly what Tom Thibodeau. What I want is I want a tall. I want a not tall, but not necessarily just tall, but I want a versatile 3, a 3 that could swing for the four on offense and defense. I would love an actual point guard and keep Burks on the bench. I like that Burks. In my heart of hearts, I like the Burks IQ Rose combination off the bench. You can run small, push a tempo in teams, get into possessions relatively quickly. Even though I am saying I want IQ to start, but just if you could get a so-called legit guard, you know what I mean? I guess, but who would that be? I've talked about Monte Morris, but he's obviously he's on a contending team. I believe he's hurt now. And they just lost PJ Dozier as well too, so they're not gonna who are these guards? Like Terrence Ross be great for the bench, as this guy can just go white hot, microwave kind of buckets off the bench. The Magic, a team that's also rebuilding as well too. Do they give him up? Another guy too, Markelle Fultz. Now I wanted your boy DeJounte Murray. I would have taken a chance on him because the Spurs are looking to get rid of him, but it seems like he's doing a lot better now. They only have 5 wins, I believe, this season. The Spurs, so they might be looking to sell. But the price of DeJounte Murray may have went up. Now his 3-point percentage went back down because he was shooting above 35% at one point. But if you're gonna go after a guy like Markelle Fultz, you go after a guy like DeJounte Murray, who he does have the 2. What do you have? ACL, and then I think he has 2 ACL injuries or just an ACL injury. But a guy who can still attack the basket, still has some speed and quickness to him. Love his first step. Still average about 19 points a game, 44% from the field. The 3-point shooting can definitely be a lot better at 31%. But you're talking about a guy who is shooting from the corner 3s, 35.7% from the corner 3, which isn't great. I think that is right around leave. I might be dead wrong. But at 35.7% is something to work with. Tom Thibodeau love his corner 3-point shooting. He'll find a way to get him his looks. But if you can still DeJounte Murray from the Spurs for first, do you do that? I don't know, but there's definitely going to be a trade coming because what we have now in this roster is not playoff material in terms of getting past the first round. I just don't see it. I think that Burks is probably going to run out of gas sometimes just because he's a little bit older. Even IQ is young. You just need more talent on his team right now. A little bit more talent because the Kemba Walker thing is just whatever. Unless Fournier, RJ, and Randall turn it on. You know what I mean? But and I'm hoping they do, but I think the front office is angling for a trade. But that's another conversation for another day, man. I appreciate all you guys for coming through. I apologize for being long-winded all over the place. I think we only went for an hour and 15, 16 minutes. Cool. I'm going to start doing maybe just an hour, maybe hour and a half shows for some of these weeklies. I might even have one or 2 shows during the week when I have time. Things are slowing down because of the holiday break. Let me see. C-Max says, I'll take DeJounte Murray in a heartbeat. That defense. Oh, yeah. DeJounte Murray is also good. Yeah. DeJounte Murray's a beast, man. And Popovich did say that he was looking to get guards who can shoot. I think he's trying to move away from DeJounte Murray and Derek White. So I'm down to go after a guy like DeJounte Murray. But it might cost us. But let's see what Popovich is offering. But we have to start surveying the league and look for some of these teams that are rebuilding. Obviously, I would love an SGA here, but he's not getting traded for the OKC wants a lot for SGA. It seems because they kind of shop him during the off season, but I don't think he's gonna leave anytime soon. Who's some other names? Someone Coach Kobe said try to trade Kemba to the Nets. That'd be grimy, but obviously that's not gonna happen. But I bet you if Kemba Walker went to the Nets, he'd be like, "Oh, this is a real New York team I want to go to." But whatever. But we will see. But guys, I thank you guys for joining, man. Salute to each and every one of you guys, man. I'm sorry I was all over the place, man. I was making all these damn slides. As you can see, my OBS was like messing up a little bit. For some reason, is including extra slides and whatnot. But I appreciate you guys for being here with me to go over this. We have a game tomorrow versus the Nets, Brooklyn Nets. I try to get something to do something at the Barclays Center before the game. I just couldn't do it. I had too much things to do. Hopefully by the next game at the Nets, I might have something, some fan interaction stuff at the Nets Stadium because I don't care. I'm not Nets fans. They all fake anyway. They mean nothing to me. They ain't scaring nobody. But until then, tomorrow, guys, I will see you guys later. The game, I believe, is at, 7? So I'll be here for the pregame show around 6:30 or 7, whenever the game is. If it's at 7 or 7:30. Stupid video said we getting smacked. They just got mollywopped by the... Yeah, they got mollywopped by the Suns, though. So it's the Suns. Suns is killing everybody right now. But what did Harden have 7 turnovers last game and he got booed? Let me see. We don't have the assets to get Murray. I don't disagree. And his price went up. Yeah, BJ Boston just killed, right? BJ Boston before it's too late. Yeah, BJ Boston just put up 45 in the G League the other night. Now that's a guy I did not want in the first round. I would have taken the second round, but you know, mobbing deep in the Barclays. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please do that. Please do that. I might sneak. I might do some of the Barclays. I'm gonna try to see. Hawks had Trae Young on RJ. He didn't post up. Yes, Kevin Middleton. We talked about that right on the show. Had him in a post up. I think he took one attempt to pass it out, but there was one play he had him in a post up, and the Knicks just came out of that. Like he just even. Yeah, there was one play I think he was legitimately in the post up, and there was another, and I think the help came. There's another play in the. I think it was the second half. No, it was in the first half. And he had him in a high post, and the Knicks even looked to exploit that. They was looking to just get in the sets. That's again, court awareness. If you have a proper point guard, he points those things out and he gets it done for you, right? If you had a Jason Kidd, like, yo, get your butt in the, yo, get in the paint. Get in the paint. What are you doing? You got freaking Trae Young on you. Now, Trae Young was also on Fournier Wells too, but Fournier just doesn't provide any physicality, no potential for that post-up, so he was just kind of stuck. Let me see. Salute the Nets might run us out the gym. Yeah, he said about to be on Flatbush tomorrow. Salute. All day. But it depends, man. Depends where you're going to be on Flatbush, man. Flatbush is all the way down, man. Salute to my families on, not families, but all my family on, living on Flatbush. Hogs, let me see. Mama D, So that's what we do now, passing off other people's analogies as your own word. You guys are fighting in the chat. But yeah, that's about it. I just like that baby hairs was tight on the end of the game. Fine. And I was best. Salute the Nets might run us out. All right, read that already. But guys, I appreciate you guys being here, man, for this weekly. And again, I apologize for postponing it. I just been stupid busy. But I should be better in the upcoming weeks. I appreciate all you guys for being here. Peace, salute, God bless. Take care. And again, you know who we got. You know who the Mets got. Baby, we got Scherzer. Peace, salute, God bless, man. I will see you guys here tomorrow. Peace.